there's certainly a lot of work for Department of Government Efficiency. And there will be immense opposition, obviously, to making the government more efficient from entrenched interests that currently benefit from sucking away vast amounts of taxpayer money. They will not like the fact that they're not getting it anymore. They will fight tooth and nail. So, but it's got to be done. And like I said, we're going to aim to, reduce government spending, get government out of people's lives as much as possible, and restore freedom and liberty.
Now, in the past 30 or 40 minutes here, that they might try to pull this interim spending bill off the floor and maybe just go with a clean bill. Unclear what that means for disaster assistance. Here's what happened. A post on X by Elon Musk sent shockwaves through the Capitol. House Republicans were trying to see if they have enough votes to pass the spending bill in the next hour or two. Musk posted that anyone who votes yes should lose their office in 2 years, and lawmakers are scrambling.
Okay, guys, so today we got some pretty big news out of Capitol Hill, and as you could probably expect, we have yet another example of the RINO Republicans letting us down yet again. It feels like every month we're complaining about RINO Republicans in Capitol Hill, whether it's Lindsey Graham or a lot of the people in the House or whatever it is. But I'm happy, actually, to report to you today that there are signs that things are beginning to change. This story does actually have a happy ending for now, and it is not thanks to Mike Johnson. It is not thanks to John Thune or Mitch McConnell, but it is thanks to none other than Elon Musk, the incoming Department of Government Efficiency, alongside, obviously, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Because essentially what happened today on Capitol Hill is that the Republican Congress, without really even thinking about it, without even asking that many questions, was going to pass a 1,500-page long, another one of those ridiculous, wasteful spending bills to fund the government only till March. Okay, so we're not, you would think like 1,500 pages. Surely that's got to fund the government for a year, a couple of years. No, couple of months is what we're talking about. And it's obviously hypocritical on so many levels because the Republican Party has talked so long about how we need to cut down on spending and we need to, be fiscally conservative. And yet we have control of the House and we're just signing off on these ridiculous omnibus bills. And again, I want to emphasize this. No one was asking any questions. No one was even thinking, hey, maybe this is a bad idea, until obviously Elon Musk stepped in and made his voice heard. Now, if you're curious what was in this 1,500 pages, I mean, as you could imagine, a lot of pork, a lot of just pure waste. But I think the most telling part about this spending bill is the fact that it included a $70,000 a year raise for our elected representatives. I think now they're going to be making about $240,000 a year to be in Congress. Because that's exactly what they need right now, right? First of all, I thought inflation was transitory. I thought inflation was not real. Apparently now they're calling it a cost of living adjustment. And it's like, really? That's the last thing we need in our country right now, to be giving even more money to our elected representatives. But I think the most telling part of it all, guys, is that today, Speaker Mike Johnson came out and said that he did not like the spending bill. Like, he wasn't a fan of it. He says, yeah, I agree. With fiscal conservatism, this is really wasteful. This is really bad. To which I asked the question, okay, if that's true, then why are you voting for it? Like, that actually makes no sense. But here's what he had to say.
We don't have a choice. We have to fund those. We have to fund FEMA. We have to fund our farmers.
Right. And Mr. Speaker, it's not just, so you've got a bunch of Republicans who are angry at you. They don't like this. And just in a couple of weeks, you're going to stand once again to run for Speaker of the House. And you don't need a bunch of Democrats mad at you. But and this is breaking news you do not know. You know who also does not like this? Elon Musk, the world's richest man, just tweeted, this bill should not pass. The only way you're going to be able to pass it now, Mr. Speaker, is with Democrats. If you could, what's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together. And I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight. And he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor thin margin of Republicans. So any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda. That's what we're going to run with gusto beginning January 3rd when we start the new Congress, when Republicans, again, are in control.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what's going to happen, right, Mike Johnson? Really? And again, this is my central question. What's the point of Congress then? If you don't like a bill, why are you voting for it? Why are you trying to get it to pass? It doesn't actually make any sense, okay? You can say, and I understand the logic he's trying to bring, that, oh, well, we get this done now, we can fund the government, and then I swear, guys, next year in 2025, suddenly then we're going to be fiscally conservative, then we're going to actually cut down on government waste. But again, do you really believe these people? Okay, and here's the deal. Here's the real reason why so many Republicans got guilt tripped into voting for this is because attached in this spending bill was the hurricane relief, obviously, for people in North Carolina and Florida. And so this is what Democrats, but also I would say DC in general, usually does, is they'll have this gigantic spending bill that's thousands, literally thousands of pages long. And they'll use the excuse of, oh, you're voting against this? You're voting against hurricane relief. Just like under Biden, when they passed the infrastructure bill, they had all this stuff in the bill that had nothing to do with infrastructure. But then they said, well, if you're voting against it, you're voting for infrastructure. It's like, no, frankly, every bill that you're voting on, every new spending piece item should be single, right? There should be a standalone hurricane bill that will pass with obviously bipartisan support. It shouldn't be a question. But this is what they're trying to do because the Democrats and as well as the establishment Republicans are trying to justify the spending for all this other nonsense, all this other pork by saying, oh, but the hurricane. So obviously, I think it is true that what Republicans need to do is come to the table with, okay, we'll give disaster relief for the hurricane, but we're going to do that as our own bill. And we're also, in regards to the normal spending bill, actually read it, actually talk about it and discuss it and not just vote for something immediately without even knowing what is in the bill. And that is exactly the point that Elon Musk was trying to make. So he went out today and said, any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years. I believe the exact count, by the way, was 56 tweets. He put out 56 tweets basically threatening all the RINOs, saying, do not vote for this. This is ridiculous. This is treacherous. And again, if you want to provide hurricane relief, you guys have the House, right? Bring that bill to the floor. Oh, but the Senate, oh, but the White House. What are they going to do? Realistically, what are they going to do? Are they going to vote against a bill for hurricane victims? I don't know. Even I understand that Biden basically is at the point where he's blowing up his legacy. He just doesn't care. But still, they're not actually going to do that. But what you have to do is not just sit there and pass bills like this without questioning them, right? And so that's, I think, precisely why Elon Musk is, again, now threatening to primary the RINO Republicans who just keep voting for this stuff for absolutely no reason. And it would seem to me that those threats of political, obviously political, not violent, but political retribution have worked today. But first, here was also the statement from J.D. Vance and President Trump. A joint statement here saying the most foolish and inept thing ever done by congressional Republicans was allowing our country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. It was a mistake and is now something that must be addressed. Meanwhile, Congress is considering a spending bill that would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney. The bill would make it easier to hide the records of the corrupt January 6th committee, which accomplished nothing for the American people and hid security failures that day. This bill would also give Congress a pay raise while many Americans are struggling this Christmas. Again, that's probably the most outrageous part of the entire thing. Increasing the debt ceiling is not great, but we'd rather do it on Biden's watch. If Democrats won't cooperate on the debt ceiling now, what makes anyone think they would do it in June during our administration? That's a great question for Mike Johnson, right? Who's saying, oh, if we just get it done now, it'll be fine. Well, I don't know. Let's have this debate now, they're saying. And we should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats everything they want. Gee, you don't say. I think the core problem is Mike Johnson is just too nice, right? He's just such a nice guy. He's like, okay, Democrats, you want this? Go and have it, right? You got to play hardball politics, buddy. Republicans want to support our farmers and pay for disaster relief and set up the country for success in 2025. The only way to do that is with a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways combined with an increase in a debt ceiling. Anything else is a betrayal of our country. Republicans must get smart and tough. If Democrats threaten to shut down the government unless we give them everything they want, then call their bluff. It is Schumer and Biden who are holding up aid to our farmers and disaster relief. Yep, that's about exactly what I just said, right? This chaos will not be happening if we had a real president, and we will in 32 days. Now, with that said, I can now update you here today, guys. Elon Musk has just declared victory. Sounding like from everything we're hearing, at least the current spending bill is dead on arrival in Congress. Again, let's point out, it's important to kind of understand this thing was about to pass. Okay. They were going to pass this without question. It was Elon stepping in. It was Trump, etc. They had to sound the alarm bell because our Republican House is just so useless. They weren't going to do anything. But he went out and said, your elected representatives have heard you. And now the terrible bill is dead. The voice of the American people has triumphed after many people like Anna Paulina Luna, Rick Scott in the Senate. I think it was 27 in total House representatives came out against this bill. And here is the update on that situation from Fox News.
Right now in the past 30 or 40 minutes here that they might try to pull this interim spending bill off the floor and maybe just go with a clean bill. Unclear what that means for disaster assistance. Here's what happened. A post on X by Elon Musk sent shockwaves through the Capitol. House Republicans were trying to see if they have enough votes to pass the spending bill in the next hour or two. Musk posted that anyone who votes yes should lose their office in 2 years, and lawmakers are scrambling.
Tweets from Musk and has that complicated this?
Well, I mean, I think that there's always a lot of interest in what's happening up here, and
this is more than interest. They're telling people if they vote yes, they should be voted out.
The social media world is a part of our politics, and I think members have to expect that. And there will be a lot of hard votes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they are absolutely terrified. Okay, it's funny because people say that Elon Musk is like the George Soros of the right, and they're not entirely wrong about that. You know, it's interesting. Like he just puts out a couple tweets, 56 actually, so it's not really a couple, but still, all he basically does is tweet at these congressmen threatening to primary them for voting for this disaster liberal spending bill. And then all of a sudden what happens? Oh no. Okay. And they can claim it's not because of Elon, but it's because of Elon. Oh no, guys. All right, maybe we got to figure this out. All right, where we're going to get our funding for our next election. That's how you play hardball politics. And I would despise Elon Musk if he was doing things I disagreed with, okay? Because the power being wielded there is obviously insane, but that's what you got to do, right? That's what you got to do. If you need literally the most powerful man in the world to restore like actual democracy to our country, okay? Because as it turns out, Republican voters elected these people, not special interests in Washington, whatever, then that's what you got to do. So guys, ultimately we'll see what happens, but this already at the current moment seems to be a positive development that was created by Elon and the incoming DOGE. Okay, the spending bill as it currently exists is dead. There'll probably be a new one as it pertains to disaster and hurricane relief. They're looking to do a standalone bill now, which again is what you should have done the entire time. It should not have taken a public pressure campaign from Elon and Republican voters to make that happen. But ultimately, you know, it is what it is. Last thing I'll talk about here, this is the response of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat. He says, House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government. And they hurt the working class Americans they claim to support. You break the bipartisan agreement. You own the consequences that follow. Elon Musk replies here, you seem to think that the public is dumb. They are not. And that is exactly true. The arrogance there of Hakeem Jeffries to assume that shutting down the government, if that's what we have to do, will somehow hurt working class Americans. Buddy, I don't know how to tell you this. Your job is not really that essential to our lives, okay? The arrogance of our congressmen to think they're the saviors of the working class. You guys don't do anything for the working class. And by the way, if you want to say, oh, but what about the federal employees? Okay, every time there's a government shutdown, literally every single time, they get back pay. Whereas, if you work in the private sector and like the office or something sets on fire or there's a flood and you can't work for a month, do those people get back pay? No. Okay, so it is what it is ultimately. I'm not really here to make a big situation out of that, but no. Okay, as you'll find out, if we have to shut down the government, we will. But ultimately, I think Trump is right. Call the Democrats' bluff on this. They're just taking advantage of you, Mike Johnson. And, we claim we're going to fix spending in this country. We claim with the Republicans we're fiscally conservative, then do it. Act like it. But glad to see for now that bill is dead. And thank you, Elon Musk. It would not have happened, frankly, without him. With that said, guys, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comment section down below. Be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.